Hey guys, and welcome to the Bayern View. Hope you guys are all doing well. As you can see, I am in here with a special guest, PSG Inc. in the building. Yeah, man, this is going to be a fun one because this guy has no filter, and nor do I. So it's going to be a fun one. If you do go on to enjoy, smash the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. If you aren't subscribed to PSG Inc., please click in the title. It is at. Click over there, subscribe. Good stuff over there. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with Mbappe, which we're going to talk about. Same with Alphonso Davies. Yeah, man. Either way, though, welcome to the channel, mate. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Pleasure being here.
Yeah, man. It's good to get you on, man. I like the no filter. I'm not gonna lie. It's the way to be. It's better than this PR trained crap, to be quite honest.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people want to watch as well. They're so bored out of people everyone just being the same. Everyone having the same opinions. Everyone having the same thoughts, everything. Like we're different as humans. We're meant to have different opinions, controversial opinions. We're not meant to agree with everyone's opinion.
Yeah, 100. I'm with you on that one. Right. Is this live? Yeah, this is live in the flesh.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, we're going to be talking about certain things. I think we just hit the nail on the head straight away and just talk about Mbappe. I think he's going to be the biggest. It's going to be the biggest story in the summer. It doesn't matter if Ronaldo goes somewhere, Messi goes somewhere. He is the main attraction. So,
sure.
What are you thinking from a fan's perspective? Obviously, you're a PSG fan.
How I feel about him leaving the club. When it comes to Mbappe, it's different from every other player for us PSG fans because back in 2022, I accepted him leaving for free in the summer to Real Madrid. And then he surprised everyone by extending. So I'm not hurt like last time. I've gone through this. It doesn't feel... I actually want him to go out. I want him to leave because his demeanor on the pitch, last game, for example, I don't know if you saw, he was subbed out. And he was the captain. And instead of, putting it on the teammate or giving it to him, he just threw it on the floor. So he's just... It's bad aura around the club at the moment with him. I wish the season would end now so we don't have to see him play for the club anymore. But I'm not that affected by him leaving anymore because I've gone through this heartbreak so many times before.
Yeah. It's definitely a sticky situation, isn't it? So would you say that this is going to sound so stupid, but like how managers, you can say, like, for me, I'm Tuchel out. Obviously, he's got sacked and he'll be going at the end of the season. We can talk about that further in the show. But, like, would you say you're Mbappe out? Like, you just want him gone?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I don't know if you saw my clips during last summer, but last summer he was talking really negatively about the club. And that's when I created the Mbappe's Rat series, which blew up. Okay. But yeah, I've wanted him out since last summer. Yeah.
It's a sticky one. So if with him extending, right, and let's say he goes this summer, is PSG going to get money for him now?
No.
Still no money. Okay.
No.
So he's kind of wasted your time. He's kind of like.
I mean, I don't want to say it because, I don't want to talk that about my club, but I mean, he pretty much made us a stepping stone. It's like how players go to Dortmund and then go to Bayern.
Yeah. No, 100. I'm with you on that one. Lewandowski, one of our best ever players, literally did that. So yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. Alphonso Davies, we can talk about him as that's obviously the title. It's an interesting thing. Before I have my take on it, because obviously I'm the Bayern fan. What is your take from like an outsider's perspective?
I feel, again, it's similar to the Mbappe situation. I feel I've understood that Bayern have even offered Davies a better contract than Madrid.
Yeah.
And this is a guy that you guys got from Vancouver when he was 17, gave him the chances, made him a starter. He has won the treble with you guys. And it's a bit disrespectful when players just don't extend, run out their contracts, and then you have to sell them for a price that you really don't want to sell them at. I mean, we saw Eden Hazard. He wanted to go to Madrid. And the season before he went, he extended to make sure Chelsea got like 120 million euros and a bunch of bonuses because he actually cared for Chelsea. But Davies, as Mbappe, is showing that he really isn't grateful for everything Bayern has done for him. And from a neutral perspective, it's disgusting how players literally have more power than the actual clubs in the modern day football. How do you feel?
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. I think. Obviously, we mentioned Mbappe, but I think this is the main thing, isn't it? Like what he has done to PSG, making it a bit of a mockery, is showing other players around the world what you can do to said club. Like back in the day, just going to use Manchester United, for instance, like how many players Sir Alex got rid of just for this instance or that instance, you know what I mean? And that was like the main thing back then. You couldn't do that now. Like the manager has no control realistically. The club has no control realistically. An interesting thing is on Lewandowski, for instance. Now, don't get it twisted. We did and we were talking to Erling Haaland. So to be fair, I would be annoyed as well, considering all of the goals I scored for your club, so on.
Yeah.
But like he was pushing his way out, and it's just weird. It's really, really weird to see this modern day football in a sense. And it's the same with modern day fans these days. You get more fans actually following a player than a club now, which is weird. Which is really, really, really weird. So I bet you're ready for the Mbappe fanboys to go with him to Madrid.
I mean, it's fanboys, and the biggest issue with Mbappe, he has a bunch of fangirls. So my Twitter feed is filled with women who only watch Mbappe because they feel he's an attractive person. They have all right in the world to feel he's an attractive person, but don't call yourself a football fan. Don't call yourself a temporary PSG fan, because when people see your opinion, they're going to take that as a PSG opinion. And I mean, football has always been a man's sport, and the other gender commenting on it is, I don't know, it feels very weird. It feels weird, but I'm extremely happy. I mean, we got Neymar and Messi fans out last season, and this is the final part of these player FCs. Do you guys have any player FCs at the club? Maybe you had probably Robin and Ribéry and Leva fans before?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't think so. I think there's a massive love for Jamal Musiala. I don't know if he's a player FC though. I don't think he's big enough yet, to be quite honest. Actually, I don't think being realistic, I don't think your club has helped itself buying in Messi, buying in Neymar, and so on.
No, it obviously hasn't, but I mean, I think that's the reason we bought them. People say, obviously we wanted to win the Champions League. I mean, that's the objective of every club, especially a club like Paris Saint-Germain that's never won the Champions League in its history. But a lot of these signings were commercial-esque signings. These signings were made to make the club more relevant, make the club more talked about, because all of these fans who would never probably have watched PSG Ligue 1 games and Coupe de France games, they're now tuning in just because of those players. So I think I think they call it in English a double-edged sword. Yep. You get relevancy, you get viewership, you get tons of money, but the negative stuff is, I mean, you get a bunch of fake fans that actually don't support the club, but are temporary fans of it. Yeah.
No, 100. We get a lot of that with like people hurting. That's definitely not the word I was trying to say. Hating on Serge Gnabry. Like a lot of people are like, Serge is this, Serge is that, and it's like, I get it, but like, chill out. You don't need to, like, people calling him fat, for instance. Like, he's not the leanest, big hench person like Leon Goretzka, but like, it's like the modern day fan just like just picks at things, and it's like, chill. Like, you don't need to. Every time I go at Thomas Tuchel, I don't really care about him or his family or anything like that. It's the football manager I'm going at,
I mean, I'm part of what you're saying, actually. I am someone that sometimes goes in your appearance and family as well. But that's not because when a player performs bad. When a player performs bad, I just talk about his ability. I go into them as persons when I disrespect them as persons. For example, Mbappe. Mbappe, as a person, I dislike, because it's not just his ability, and sometimes, attitude issues on the pitch that has. It's what he's saying in interviews and so on. So then I clamper a bit, his personality and so on. But you brought up Serge Gnabry. I don't think he's ever talked badly about Bayern. I don't think he's ever done anything as a person badly. He hasn't been up to the Bayern quality. And then, as you said, you should just keep it to straightability. You can say Gnabry is not good enough. We need better players. But going into him as a person, calling me a fan, it's obviously a bit unnecessary.
Yeah, no, 110%, mate. Without a doubt. And we will go into some of the live comments. Don't worry, I can see some comments for him. We will definitely get into those. Don't worry, people. But yeah, on Bayern as a whole, obviously we've met a couple of times now in the Champions League. How, from an outsider's perspective, again, I'm not saying you necessarily care about Bayern. Of course, you're a PSG fan. But how have you seen this season? Obviously, you must have seen some of the turmoil that's been going on.
I mean, one of the main guests, probably the second or even maybe first main guest on my channel, he's a big Tuchel fan from his time at PSG. So I keep up to date with Bayern to troll him. And I mean, Bayern is a European rival for us. I always take a look at Bayern, Barca, and Real. I dislike the Premier League clubs. I don't really care about them that much. So I've been up to date with Bayern. I mean, he didn't start off the season well. Lost 3-0 to Leipzig in the Super Cup. I mean, that's completely unheard of. But something I've realized and seen like as a pattern is how steadily the Bayern dominance has started to fell off. Obviously, you still won the league in the past 4 years, but it's been much harder, much more difficult. Last season, you won it on the last match day with the Musiala banger. So I definitely knew that there would be some problems this season, but I knew that Dortmund and Leipzig were not strong and consistent enough. But Leverkusen have definitely surprised us. But I don't know. I think Bayern started off well. Everything went well. But then injuries, Tuchel, having those number 6 issues with Kimmich, who is one of your best and most important players. And I mean, he's had a bad seasons when you look at his quality and so on. Yep. So it's been a very weird season. There's only one constant, I think, and that is Leroy Sané. I knew that he would drop off in the second half of the season. Like, this is something he's done every single season at Bayern. The easy part, the first 6 months, he is probably the best winger in the world. And now he's a shadow of that player. So, no, I've kept up to date with Bayern, and I think it's because, when Robin Ribéry and even Javi Martinez left your club, maybe Hummels as well, that should have been like an end of an era. But when you guys brought Flick in, and you guys won that treble, you like squeezed more out of the squad. But now it's really like when you really got to rebuild. I mean, your best players all have short contracts remaining. I think Kimmich 1 year, Davies 1 year, Ligt 2 years, and wants to leave. Upamecano 2 years. Tuchel is going to leave at the end of the season. So this is a crucial summer for Bayern München. But can I still see you guys winning the Bundesliga? Yes.
Oh, 100%.
Like Leverkusen have been insane form, but I don't see them for the rest of the half of the season being this good. So I still see Bayern in the title race. And I mean, the Champions League, you lost against Lazio 1-0 and got a red card to Upamecano. But I definitely see you guys coming back. And even in seasons, when players are underperforming, that's what the Champions League is for. It's one game. If a moment goes your way, you can go through. So I still think that sometimes I see Bayern fans being a bit pessimistic about this season. I still see hope for Bayern Munchen this season as a neutral supporter.
Yeah. No, and I'm with you on that one. Of course, Leverkusen have done nothing short of amazing. There's no point beating around the bush with it. What Xabi Alonso has done with that squad, and those players have definitely turned up for him. But Bayern most definitely still in the race, without a doubt. Because we've seen what Dortmund did. They bottled it. Same, So, no, I'm 100% with you on that one. On PSG, though, obviously being a big fan, and congratulations for all your success. I've seen your channel is absolutely booming, man. And I love, what video was it? I think it was your Nuno Mendes video, the recent one.
Yeah.
I was watching through that and I'm like, man, I need to step my game up. The way you were just flicking through things, and I'm like, there's picture here, picture there, picture here. Generally, I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass. I'm generally just a fan. So big up to you, 110%.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. And obviously the background wasn't working. It doesn't matter. I'm on the sofa, so but I like the background also. I definitely need to get a green screen, man. It's a bit annoying with the. I do like the photos, but it's not as professional.
I actually would want a more similar background to you, a more, how can I say, normal, moderate. It's just that as I said before, to you before we started this, I share a room, so I don't have complete authority over how I can make over my room. Like I would have wanted to put my jerseys behind me and so on. So it really depends. I mean, I think the most important things in a YouTube channel is not really the quality and all of that. Obviously, I've upped it recently, but it's just what the words that come out of your mouth. That's the most important thing that will keep people tuning in and so on.
Yeah, no, and I'm with you on that one. Lucas Hernandez. I think we need to talk about him. Yeah, we think he's a snake, and that's absolutely fine. What's your opinion on him? How's he doing at the club?
I mean, he's been extremely consistent. I mean, that is what we call Lucas Hernandez, just Mr. Consistent. Sure, he doesn't give you 8.5, 9 out of 10 games, but he doesn't need to. He just does the simple stuff, doesn't get dribble pass. He doesn't really have that much offensively because we play like a 3 at the back, so he's mostly defensively, but he's a warrior. And, he has roots from Marseille. So some PSG fans were questioning his signing, saying, oh, you're signing a player that has rival roots and so on. But, I mean, he's already like a top 5, top 4, top 3 leader at the club. So I'm extremely happy with the signing of Lucas Hernandez. The only question mark I had for him when we signed him was, his injured out, having 2 previous ACLs. But Luis Enrique, our manager, what he's done is, I don't think Lucas Hernandez has ever started 4 games in a row.
Okay.
And he's always, and he's always subbed out 70th minute when we lead in games and so on. Obviously, if there's a tough game, he will stay on the entire 90 minutes. But in the majority of games, we're just trying to keep him fit and available. The only issue is, I mean, ACL can happen at any single time. It can happen in the first minute, it can happen in the last minute. But I like that our manager knows about the injury issues and definitely doesn't want to risk it.
Yeah. No, and I'm with you on that one. That was definitely a problem at Bayern. I think one thing, we want to call him a snake, this, that, blah, 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 whatever. One thing that he did show is he did fight for the badge. And I think that's why we, as Bayern fans, do call him certain things and so on and so forth. Because obviously he, celebrating like this, and then the next minute he's bloody leaving us, you know what I mean? So it's definitely one of those. But I think that's a great thing, though. I don't necessarily rate Enrique, I'm not going to lie, but that man management is what we need in football. Not these days, he's literally just picking an 11. Anyone can do that. The common man can pick an 11. It's not hard, but the man management, and I think that's what Tuchel hasn't done. But yeah, it's one of those. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna bring up the Villarreal game where you lost. I didn't watch it, but from what I remember from Bayern fans saying about that game is that majority of players, the mentality just wasn't there. But Lucas was fighting the entire game, both legs and so on. So he's definitely, but I completely understand why you guys feel he's a snake. And I like that. As a big club, when a player leaves you, no matter what he's done for the club, even though was part of your treble winning team, was part of, you guys competing in the Champions League and so on, if you leave us, you're an enemy. It's that simple. So I completely understand Bayern fans feeling like that, especially when it was close to extending as well before leaving the club. That's what makes it even harder. He gave you guys false hope. And then when we came, he was like, no. But if we're talking just from his perspective, I understand that a bit. I mean, he's French. French players always want to, try out in their native country because he's never played in France before. He came from academies in Spain and so on. And the second thing was he had already accomplished everything at Bayern. So, from his perspective, I understand that. From the Bayern perspective, yeah, he's a snake. He's a snake. He's a snake.
Yeah. And no, and that's again, that's fair enough. At the end of the day, we're just fans, and he's got to protect him and his family and so on. So when you actually deep it, it's like it's not as bad as we think. And obviously, it's the same with Lewandowski, the way he pushed himself out. But then if you go
Yeah.
into the detail, you can see, well, they're talking to Erling Haaland trying to replace me. The missus wants Spain because that's all his missus was going on about.
Yeah.
And then, Barcelona and Xavi and so on and so forth. So, yeah, no, I'm definitely with you on that one. And I think sometimes fans can take it too far with the thing. And obviously, we've already spoke about that. Obviously, both of our clubs are going to have a massive rebuild coming. Obviously, more yours than ours, because obviously that, you're going to have. I was watching your stream the other day, and the money that you're going to have coming in to make a team is going to be different, and obviously the money behind your team in general is different. What do you expect going forward?
We have the youngest team in the Champions League, so what I expect from this summer is buying world-class players with experience. I mean, that's something that we lack. If we lose in the Champions League, it will mainly be due to us lacking experience, especially in the Champions League. But apart from that, I don't think it's that hard. I mean, when you have that much money, because a lot of money will be saved up from Mbappe wages. He takes 200 million euros every single year. No player's ever done that. When Messi was at Barca, I think he took out maybe 80, 100 millions a year at max. So this is double that amount. So no, we will have a big summer transfer window, and I'm not really worried. Obviously, this is important, very important summer, crucial summer. We have to get everything right. But when you have that much money, and especially the players that we're linked with, either have a short contract or have a release clause in Osimhen, Bernardo Silva's instance, it should be very easy to do what we want to do in the summer. Whilst I haven't really seen what's Bayern's plans. Like, what players are you guys looking after apart from Florian Wirtz, who I know of? You guys want him?
Yeah, so for some reason, we seem to always be linked with him. I guess that's just because, number one, he plays in our league and he's German, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I know Man City are heavily looking at him also. Generally, there's certain players that we were looking at, but I don't, off the top of my head, I don't think there's like a main, for instance, I know that you guys are obviously, you want the striker. Like, we obviously got Harry Kane. Obviously, I know you guys were in the race for him and trying to get him. But off the top of my head, I don't, maybe a left back because of Alphonso Davies. But again, that's because of a player leaving. I'd say probably a CDM. And the most annoying thing is the person we were talking about just a minute ago, the snake, if you want to call him that. We bought him in instead of bought in Rodri. So we literally could have had, that DM. So yeah, I think it probably would be a DM, but I just don't see us getting a world-class one. I don't see Frankie de Jong coming. I don't see him coming to Bayern in general. I would love it. Don't get it twisted, but I think he's probably more coming to you guys than coming to us.
Yeah, because when all the players know now that Tuchel is going to leave at the end of the summer, and how it's impossible for you to want to join a club when you don't even know who the manager is. Maybe as soon as you get, plus you recently got a new sporting director, Herbal.
Yes. Yeah.
So he will start planning now. So I think in the coming month, maybe we will start seeing what Bayern's plan is. How do you feel about the players being on a short contract? So like Kimmich, do you see him staying at Bayern or do you see him leaving?
And I think that again, just to quickly expand that's literally the fuck up that's going on in this club. Like, this board in general is criminal, and a lot of them need to go, because it's like, you sacked Julian Nagelsmann. Okay, was he learning on the job? Yes. Was he younger than our actual goalkeeper? Yes, which is a mad stat. But at the same time, he's learning on the job. He wasn't doing as bad as people were saying. And then they sacked him. And then, then they sacked the board, and everything is getting thrown this way and that way and so on. And Alphonso Davies wants to leave now. And to be honest with you, obviously from a Bayern fan, it hurts, and I've got him behind me and everything. But if you're a footballer, a professional footballer, it's hard to make it as it is. Then you make it to a big club. Of course, you're going to put yourself first. There's no direction. We didn't know where we were going to go with Thomas Tuchel. I'll get your opinion on him as a Bayern manager and a PSG manager in a minute. But for instance, if you're a footballer, and you want to, obviously progress in your career, you're going to look for vision. You're going to look to see, oh, is this club doing what it needs to do to succeed and win the league, win the cup, win the Champions League, so on. And our club generally isn't doing that. And I hate to say that, because obviously we have been smashing the league every single year, and it might be the first time we don't win it in 12 years. We've won it 11 in a row, which is nuts in itself. But like Kimmich, for instance, is he going to want a new challenge? You know what I mean? It's really uncertain that Bayern are going to go on to succeed. There's obviously, it might sound mad from a rival or a non-Bayern fan's perspective here. And I mean, say that considering we won 11 in a row, not so long ago, we won the treble and all of that. But like, I don't know who's going to come in. They're talking about Julian Nagelsmann. All of the managers in the world are getting thrown into the
Nagelsmann.
Yeah. There was a
that would be the weirdest thing ever.
It's nuts, and it would just make no sense. You know what I mean? You sacked him for no reason. So yeah, Julian Nagelsmann's being linked with the job. I don't think that's going to happen. There's a reason I haven't made the video about it, because I just don't see it happening. If it was up to me, that's generally who I would go in for. And I generally have been saying for a long time on this channel, I generally think this Thomas Tuchel era of Bayern Munich is literally a blip. It's like Thanos clicking his fingers and everyone disappears. You know what I mean? To use that analogy, it's stupid. On your question though, sorry that was long-winded. I could talk for the world. I don't know. I really don't know. It's a horrible feeling to feel like Alphonso Davies is going. His best friend is not necessarily behind me, but on the wall, Musiala, my favorite player. Is he going to want to go? Are we going to have to bump up his wages? Because Alphonso Davies is asking for 20 million per season from the rumours. But what's he going to ask for then? Because Alphonso Davies hasn't affected our club in such. This guy won us the league. So it's really, really confusing. I don't know what's going to happen with Kimmich. Obviously, Upamecano is, people calling him Upper Maguire, and is he good? Is he bad? Is he playing to the level that he needs to play, so on and so forth. Generally, I don't know. Generally.
Because Kimmich, if I was a Bayern fan, I would be slightly a bit more optimistic, because one of the large reasons Kimmich was a bit unhappy at Bayern was Thomas Tuchel. I mean, he had a disgusting relationship with him, and he's going to leave in the summer. So, and I think the three clubs looking for Kimmich is PSG, Manchester City, so like a reunion with Pep, and then Barcelona. Barcelona don't need to sell players before they can make that. It looks like PSG are prioritizing other players ahead of Kimmich. So maybe City, but City and Pep never sign above 29-year-olds. Like they always sign 20. Like De Bruyne came a young age, Sané came young age, Sterling came young age. I mean, everyone. Bernardo Silva, Benjamin Mendy, Ruben Diaz, Ederson. So maybe Kimmich will stay. Stay.
Another thing on that as well is Pep doesn't seem to buy his former club's players. There's been, I think, if anyone's in the chat or in the comments when this goes as a video, please let me know, because the only one I can think of is Thiago. Obviously, he was at Barcelona managing. And then obviously Thiago come over to us. But yeah, he doesn't seem to buy the players. But then again, when you've got Jamal Musiala doing what he's doing, of course you're going to want to look at him. And I'm with you on that one. Ligt is a definite weird one again. Similar to Kimmich, not happy with Thomas Tuchel. Us fans aren't happy with Thomas Tuchel, to be straight up. I don't see him going, in my personal opinion. But what do you think from an outsider's perspective, of course?
When it comes to just Ligt himself, I think he has underachieved when it comes to his expectations. I mean, when he had that season at Ajax, I remember scoring the header away at Turin. People thought this is going to be a top 3 centre-back in the world for the upcoming 10 seasons. Went to Juve, came under less under expectations, and now at Bayern, it's been like sometimes he's showing you the quality that he's a top 3, top 5 centre back in the world, and sometimes He just isn't. And I think, like Kimmich, I understand his beef with Tuchel. De Ligt, I just don't understand it, because Kim and Upamecano are better than you. There's a reason you're not starting. Why don't you go to the training ground and level up your quality and become more consistent on the pitch instead of complaining and wanting to leave? So if I was a Bayern fan, I would definitely dislike how De Ligt is talking, because he needs to look at himself more than a Kimmich, for example. So
yeah, no, I'm definitely with you on that one. I just think maybe I don't know. It's a weird one. Like maybe because it's just weird. Like under Julian Nagelsmann, and obviously players can be good after under a certain manager, bad, so on. But like under Julian Nagelsmann, he was absolutely fantastic, brilliant. I actually think he kept one of your goals off the line. I think it was a PSG goal that happened. You know what I mean? It's like, and now maybe the injuries don't help. Injuries are obviously a massive factor. They can hit you mentally and everything. But like, he's just been not been himself. You know what I mean? It's weird to say. I hear it, but De Ligt has been our best centre back last season. Yep, that's obviously what I just said. So it makes sense that he doesn't play. Yeah, it's really, really odd. Really, really, really odd. Let's go through some questions though, because I did see some people asking you questions. Right, let me see. Big up Ansar. Hopefully you're doing well. Big up Zia Talks. Hopefully you're doing well also. What's this say? Alphonso out. Bring someone in who wants to play for the badge. 110%. Yeah, that's the way it should be. As always. Right, where's the questions? How do you feel about Zidane becoming Bayern Munich manager, if that was to happen?
I mean, I really haven't read those reports. Zidane is a bit weird. We were like inches away from getting him. And I mean, it was understandable him coming to PSG. We had Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe at that time. He would love to coach Mbappe. It's a French club. It's Paris and everything. And he rejected because he was waiting for the France job. So I really don't know what's going through Zidane's mind. He would be a great coach for Bayern. The only issue is you're gonna go through a rebuild phase. Zidane is a manager at his best when he has everything. He's not a great manager. I'm not gonna say he's a bad manager at building squads, but we haven't seen him build a squad. We've seen him inherit a squad and get the absolute best out of that. So maybe when Flick left, if Zidane came in then, it would have been great. I don't think, from just experience, that Zidane would be that great of a manager for Bayern Munich next season, just because we haven't seen him, and I don't think he's really that good at building a squad. He's much better getting the best out of a squad.
Yeah, 100% bang on. That's exactly how I feel. I think that Madrid squad he had was a god squad. I think most managers can obviously win certain things, but I think he is that sort of manager, and him coming in, like you just said, after Flick would have been the best thing, but obviously that didn't happen. Can you ask if he thinks PSG can win the UCL in the next 5 seasons with a new rebuild?
I think we've always been a top 4, at least top 5 max candidate for the Champions League every single season, whether Neymar is injured, whether Messi's here, Messi not here, Mbappe here, Mbappe not here. So I just have the same feeling and same expectation for the upcoming 5 seasons. But we have a much better squad. We finally have a Champions League experienced manager, unlike Pochettino and Galtier that we had recently. So I'd say the expectations are even higher. And I understand from, far away, looking at PSG, seeing Mbappe, I think he's contributed to 65% of our goals, and saying, wow, when he's gone, who are they going to replace him with? But our squad is actually going to become much better with Kylian Mbappe, purely because he takes away so much wage we cannot, strengthen the rest of the squad. With his wage off, if we buy an Osimhen who has a 0.72 goal ratio at Napoli compared to Mbappe's 1, I think at PSG this season, 1 goal every game, it's not that big of a drop off. Obviously, we would expect more goals from other attackers like Dembele, Barcola, and midfielders, but I don't see it that much as much of a rebuild. It's more of a replace Mbappe with the best player that can score at least 60% of the goals that he's scoring. So I wouldn't really call it a rebuild at PSG this summer. More try your best to replace him. But if we can win the Champions League, I mean, we can win the Champions League this season, next season, in 20 seasons. We're always there. We're always there.
And I think on that as well, what you just said about winning the Champions League, I think it was always every single season that as long as the big four teams, PSG, City, Bayern and Madrid are in there, I think Bayern and Madrid are always going to be in the run-in to win it. Obviously, Madrid's history in Champions League is nuts. Obviously, Bayern have won it so many times as well. And then it was always PSG have got an amazing squad. Man City have got an amazing squad. Is it going to be their year? Like that's like the main question.
Yeah.
And now, obviously, Man City have now won it, unfortunately. So it seems like they're going to be the. It sounds stupid saying it, but like the royalty now, because now they're in the same category of winning it, not necessarily same category as Madrid. Nobody is. But what do you think it's going to take? Obviously, you're going to need a good squad, but like, are you going to need? I don't know. What are you going to need? I don't really know how I'm trying to pose this question, to be honest. But like, to win that Champions League, you've been so close. Obviously, you got to the final against us. What do you think, as a PSG fan, you are going to need to get that?
I think that failure is part of success.
Yep.
It's really hard comparing PSG winning the Champions League to Bayern winning the Champions League because you've already won it so many times. So, for example, when your players stepped up in that final, when they wore that kit, they're like, oh, previous players, Oliver Kahn, so Robert Ribéry, so many players have worn the shirt before and done it at this stage. So the pressure is less. And obviously the pressure from the media and everything. But when we turn up in big games, the pressure is much more on us. Everyone is calling us bottle job. They're saying, is this PSG's year? And be like, oh, those players won the Champions League here before. So I think it's us winning the Champions League. It just trying. And no matter how many times you fail, you just keep on trying. It's like losing your virginity. The first one is always the hardest. But as soon as you lose it, it becomes much simpler and easier. And I think it's the same thing when it comes to winning the first. The first Champions League is always the hardest Champions League. It took Club Barcelona over 90 years in their history to win their first Champions League. When did you guys, did you guys win your first in the 80s?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so it took you guys pretty much 80 years to win your first Champions League. We've only existed since 1970 and like being a top European contender since the QSI takeover in 2011. So we have plenty of time. I mean, City were taken over in 2008. It took them a lot of years, a lot of failing against Monaco, failing against even worse teams than PSG. Chelsea as well in the Abramovich takeover. It took them a long time. But I do think that we are at the closest it's ever been. I think we've been closing in season by season. So, yeah, I think that's why it's been so hard because it's the first one. If it wasn't the first one and the pressure wouldn't be there, maybe we would have beaten you. Maybe we would have gone to more finals because the pressure would have been less. I mean, if you saw, for example, the Real Madrid side 2 seasons ago, we absolutely dominated them. Like we should have gone through and could have been one of the contenders for the Champions League that season. But the pressure just was too much for the PSG players, and especially Marquinhos and Donnarumma, and we lost. And it's so many seasons that same when we lost to United and so on. Yeah. So my quick answer is just the first one is always the hardest one to get.
Yeah, just to get over the line.
Yeah.
To have that history for the players to think, yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. I'm definitely with you on that one. And I think it helps that Bayern did the three-peat with the Gerd Müller era and all of that, because, then we won it in 2001 and then obviously 13 and 2020. So what does this say? It says PSG are way too disrespected on the media and the internet, considering they are quite a young club. And I'm with you on that one, Cole. I think, obviously, I said at the start of this, before we even started the show, if I say anything out of turn, don't take it seriously. I like trolling, and I do 110%. I think it generally is. It comes on what Cole has had to say there. It comes with the money. I think the fact that you can bring in this player, that player, you should be winning the Champions League. But it's you could literally say Dortmund are going to win the Champions League this year. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, so it's all words. It doesn't mean it's going to happen.
So you would say that people dislike us or troll us because we're this arrogant club. We take Neymar from Barca, we take Messi from Barca, we sign Mbappe from this, we give him a huge contract so he doesn't go to Madrid, and all for nothing.
Basically, yeah, you know what I mean.
No, I definitely see that perspective. But I mean, it's not like we're not trying. we're trying. Yeah. We're trying, but we're failing.
And again, like you said, failure makes it. You know what I mean? You have to fail first before you go and obviously make it.
100%.
What does it say? It said, where does it say? It said, I seen a question and now I can't find it. What was it say? I'd love to get Kvara, but I see him going to a Prem club and joining up with Osimhen. What do you think about Osimhen? Do you think it's, obviously I know that there's a release clause. Do you think as a PSG fan, it's bang on, or are you scared the likes of Chelsea are going to get involved? Because obviously they like throwing money left, right, and centre as well.
I do actually think Chelsea at the moment have some FFP issues because they've spent like 700, 800, maybe even $1 billion so far under Ted Bowley. So they need to sell before they can buy. The only thing with Osimhen is that he's so-called a Chelsea fan when he was a kid. But I think with Osimhen being in his prime, he's 25, going to turn 26. I don't think he wants to waste his time playing Carabao Cup and playing Luton and Burnley as his toughest opponents. So if Osimhen is a serious player, whether people think of PSG, obviously PSG is the much smarter decision for his footballing career than Chelsea. Sure, Chelsea playing the Premier League. Okay, you want to come seventh in the league or compete for the Champions League by playing Ligue 1.
Exactly.
So
exactly. Some people might bite back at you. Sorry, some people might back at you and basically say like, yeah, but you play in the Uber Eats League and all of this. But I agree with you. Like Chelsea are very far from coming back in the Champions League and getting to what they've done before and win it. Like I can see that. Like PSG, no matter if it's a good league or not, you're always getting Champions League no matter what, which is what players want these days.
Exactly.
So, and he's already done it in the league as well, hasn't he? He smashed it in the league before he went to Napoli, if I'm right by saying.
In Ligue 1 before, I actually don't know. Let me check it up quickly here. I think
thinking of somebody else.
No. He played at Lille before. He played at Lille, and that's where he got his like 70 million move. But I don't remember if he really like smashed it. But I do think he scored around 20 goals maybe in the league, which is still really good. Let me double check.
Maybe I'm thinking of Paul Pender. I went to the Bundesliga.
No. He played one season in Lille. Okay, he had 13 goals, 4 assists in 25 starts. So he was actually good in Lille before he left. I mean, that's why Napoli put like 70 million for him because he was one of the hottest talents in the world at the moment.
At that time, yeah, especially for his age as well, scoring that amount of goals isn't too shabby, to be quite honest. And that generally wasn't a pun. What do you think about Xabi Alonso coming to Bayern Munich? Where do you think he'll go? You know, the rumor obviously is Real Madrid, Liverpool, Bayern Munich. It doesn't look like Ancelotti's going to go, so it ain't going to be Madrid unless something massive happens. Klopp is going, Tuchel's going. Where do you, as a Bayern fan, as a non-Bayern fan, shall I say, what would be your opinion on that?
I don't know. I could still see Xabi Alonso stay at Bayer Leverkusen, but I've seen reports that he's already been flirting with you guys. I don't think he will go to Liverpool. I think Liverpool fans overhype their club a bit. I think they're going to go back to a bit of irrelevancy now that Klopp is going to leave, now that Salah is going to Saudi, Van Dijk has 1 year left on his contract, Trent has 1 year left on his contract. And if you're Xabi Alonso, I see him going to Bayern instead. But if he has Real Madrid as the club that he wants to manage, it's easier to use Liverpool as a stepping stone than Bayern. So if he really thinks a lot about Madrid, I think he'll go to Liverpool. If he cares, just let me go to a club, let me go to a bigger club, let me improve, then he will go to Bayern.
Yeah, no. I'm 110% with you on that one.
I mean, he will bring some Leverkusen players with him, like Grimaldo, Wirtz, and so on.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. What's this say? Who would you add to the Bayern 11, or let Liam make you an 11? Oh, I don't know. If there was some players, who would you put in the Bayern team?
Okay. To make it easier, let me do. Could you put it on?
Yeah, 1 second. Let me bonk. There we go. Bear with me 1 second. I need to get rid of my overlay because it's gonna be in the way.
Okay.
There we go.
So we're gonna build. We're gonna start with the players that are gonna stay at the club and gonna be here, and then build the rest. So Upamecano, even though he has a 2-year left on his contract, I think if Bayern just improve a bit their quality, he will stay. I don't see him leaving Bayern. I don't think he will want to leave Bayern yet. And I mean, Kimmich was recently signed, so he's going to be there in the starting 11. As I said, I think Kimmich, due to Tuchel being the main antagonist in his bad relationship at the moment with Bayern, with him leaving, I see Kimmich still staying. Even though Coleman still going through his injuries, I still see him as a starter for Bayern. Obviously, the big signing of Harry Kane in the summer, he will obviously be there. And then obviously, depending on who the manager is that comes in, I think the right back is going to be between Mazraoui and the recent signing of Sacha Boey.
Yeah.
Sanya also, I mean, he also has a short contract. His future is a bit uncertain. So it's a bit, I don't know if I would put him there. Musiala obviously has to be in the lineup. And from Kimmich complains, he wants someone next to him. And I mean, I think this is the season you guys move on from Neuer. Even though he still has great ability, you want to move on from these aging players. Like, you can get someone, Neuer can still play maybe a third part of the games, but you should give most of those minutes. I know that you have that Israeli goalkeeper.
Yeah.
But I'm very unsure if he can step up to the quality of Bayern. So I would first look to try to sign a goalkeeper. So goalkeeper, left back, midfielder, and a right winger is what I think Bayern, should be looking out for. Wow. And the market is really dead. I mean, they're literally no good players. Let's do this together. Just give me names as well. Like, who are you thinking of?
Well, a name that goes straight in there would be Theo Hernandez. I just don't think we're going to get him.
No, you know that valuation by Milan, 100 million, is BS. It's BS. As soon as Newcastle put 60, 70 for Tonali, even though he bleeds red and black, he had to leave because Milan was so broke that if you give a certain sum, they will have to accept. So Theo, and for the goalkeeping position, I just thought of it, Kobel from Dortmund. I think he has a short remaining and he's been spectacular this season, both in the league and in the Champions League. I mean, Dortmund have been very inconsistent this season, but one of their only consistent players is Kobel, and obviously the captain, Mats Hummels. So Kobel, Theo, I mean, we're already looking at around the 110 region.
Yeah.
Midfielder, you obviously could go back for Palinha.
I think that would be a good option, generally. I think going in for De Jong, an enticing factor of that De Jong deal for any club that brings him in is paying off that 20 million wages that is owed.
Yeah.
And I think PSG are more likely to do that than Bayern Munich, to be quite honest. So
I mean, Maignan as well for goalkeeper. But I'm looking at the comments here. I mean, from what I've seen from Pavlovic, you should just, give him the go. And I mean, you recently signed Zargova. So Maybe he will be a starting winger. Obviously, it's extremely hard to predict because we don't know who your manager is going to be, what play style he's going to use. He's going to play the same formation, the 4-2-3-1. Is he going to change some positions? But I think this is an easy one to predict for next season. And how would you feel as a Bayern fan with this lineup?
I just think there's a bit of lacking in quality, if I'm honest with you. I think Kobel is a very good goalkeeper. I agree with you, and I'm definitely one of those people that is one of those, where you just can't let go of a certain player. Like Neuer, for me, has to be in that team. But I do agree with you. Eventually, you're gonna have to let go of certain players. Coman, Kane. I don't know. I really don't know who they're going to bring in. I think they have to bring in a winger. Because like Wirtz is very, very good option. And I'm with you on that one. I think he is a very good option to bring in. But at the same time, we brought in so many young lads. We brought some lad from Australia. I don't know if he's going to work out. We've got Zaragoza. He's obviously just been brought in. So I don't know if they're going to bring in another winger, because if you're going to bring in another winger, what was the point of signing these players in the first place? It just makes no sense. So I think maybe a DM and a left back, if Alphonso pushes his way out, is where we would go, in my opinion. But Wirtz, most definitely, I don't think is a 24 signing. I think if Bayern Munich sign him, it will be 2025.
But I don't remember, like, I think this was from last year, mentioning that Wirtz said, I'm going to make a decision after the Euros. I mean, his decision could be staying at Leverkusen, but I think he's been there enough time, and with so many big clubs being after him, I could see him leaving this summer, but it would be very expensive, near the 100 million range. So if we're looking at this one, I changed it to a 4-4-2. Because then you can actually play Tell, who has great potential.
Yeah.
But it's a very young team. But Wirtz, Theo, Kobel, we're looking at 230 million in the summer for only 3 players as well.
Which is crazy, because if, let's say that is the team, so 250 million, how do you make that? So Alphonso Davies is going to go. They're asking for around 50 million. Real Madrid want to pay 35. Real Madrid generally can go suck on a Kiwi, because they just do my head in, the fact that they want players for such a cheap price. So let's just say we get 50 for Alphonso Davies. I think Serge Gnabry's gone. I don't really know what you can get with him. He's been very injury prone. Obviously, when he's cooking it up, he was amazing, but we didn't sell him then. You know what I mean? He's not that same player. So I'd say maybe 30 million on him. So that's 80. Who else is going to be sold? Maybe Goretzka. I'm not really too sure how much you get from Goretzka. This is the problem. I don't, obviously we don't have the backing of a PSG and Man City, so on. So I don't know how we're going to...
But you guys still have a high revenue. I mean, the money that you're going to use is not just going to be money that you earn. I think without selling anyone, maybe you have 150 million budget for the summer. So if you sell Davis for around 50 million, that's 200. I still see this feasible. As I said, it's just hard to predict what kind of players. Like, who knows? If you get a manager similar to Nagelsmann, maybe you start signing a bit more younger players and build like a project. But if you get a more experienced manager like Zidane we talked about before, maybe then you go for players that are like ready to compete at the moment. But again, it also depends a lot on Kimmich. Like Kimmich, if you're going to tell him we're going to rebuild at Bayern, maybe then he wants to leave. Yeah. But if you tell him, no, we're going to try and win and try to be as competitive as possible, maybe then he stays. So there are a lot of different things that can happen.
Yeah. And obviously it depends who goes out. If we do get rid of certain players, then we could obviously bring, Theo Hernandez isn't a bad option. I don't want him because he's Lucas Hernandez's brother, on what we were talking about earlier. You know what I mean? which is a bit pathetic when you think about it. But you know, it is what it is. I'm going to stay with it. But yeah, I really, it's an uncertainty. Like if you were to keep with Thomas Tuchel, you could say, okay, he's going to get himself a DM. He's going to get this. He's going to get that. But because we generally don't know anything, like it's that uncertainty, definitely. What do you think about your team though, PSG? What are you saying about PSG?
I mean, I can build it quickly. I think Donnarumma is going to be obviously still the starting goalkeeper for next season. He's finally stepped up this season. Obviously, we've not seen enough in the Champions League, but he's been one of your top goalkeepers in Europe this season. Rabak, Hakimi, no changes. Marquinhos, there's a question mark if we're going to sell him or not, because we can still get a lot of money from him, and I think a lot of Saudi clubs are interested in him, and Saudi club pays a lot of money. So it's a question mark between him and a potential signing, if you know him, Lenioro from Lille. He's an upcoming centre back, and then obviously Lucas Hernandez is. I mean, we can ride Snake just because it's a Bayern pod. And then on the left, Nuno Mendes, with him recently returning, and then Dembele. You put Barcola. It looks like PSG. We could try to go for a Leao or something, but they don't wanna prevent Barcola's, what's the word? Development. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then obviously with Mbappe leaving, and then I think Warren Zaire-Emery is always gonna be a midfielder, starting midfielder, just because I mean, straight from the academy, you want him to be part of that. It's like Musiala, so. These are the main positions we have to, fix. But there's already one player that's going to come back for free. That's Xavi Simons, who's been lighting it up in the Bundesliga this season.
When you got him and then just put him straight out on loan, I'm like, PSG are a bunch of pricks. Generally, it's just like, I knew what you were doing. You're cooking. It literally is like you're pushing him out to do amazing, so then you could bring him back. Because otherwise you might, Mbappe's going to steal the show, so then he's not going to get those.
And another thing, I think also he wanted the loan because he was before at PSG. He was benched, never got game time, went on loan. Became a free agent, went to PSV, but we had a clause to bring him back for like 8 million.
Yeah.
He performed really well at PSV. And then he was like, I want to return to PSG. I want to play for this club in the future, but I would like another loan move. And I mean, Leipzig is one of the best places to send out a young player. Bundesliga is a great league for young players, and Leipzig is a team that always give their chances to young players. And then the last player here in the midfield, I mean, you could try for Kimmich here, but I would draw another one, De Jong, because we're a very possession-based side this season under Luis Enrique. So this will be my team for PSG next season. I mean, we still have we have even more money, so we can go and try to get Leao. We can look for Bernardo Silva. Yeah. This will be my team for next season.
It's not a bad team, to be fair, is it?
And it's a young team as well. I mean, if Marquinhos gets removed, the oldest player in the team is Dembele, and he's just 27. Osimhen 26. De Jong as well. I think he's 27. Lucas as well, 27. So it's a great mixture of youth and experience, I would say.
How has Dembele been doing? Has he been getting as injured?
He hasn't been injured. I mean, he's been arrested one game, but as I explained to you before with Lucas Hernandez, it's just been the exact same thing with Dembele. He never starts 3 games in a row, and he is always getting subbed out like 70th minute in the game. So we're extremely cautious with players that we know are injury prone before. And that's why we haven't really had a single injury this season that has had an actual impact on the performances. So once again, huge props to the management of Luis Enrique and the squad and the players.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. One other player I did want to ask quickly before we have to end the stream. For some reason, Bayern Munich obviously are looking for a 6, and we've been linked with Marquinhos as a 6. What is, from a PSG perspective, What would you say on that?
He hasn't played as a 6 since 2021 or like 2020, since Tuchel left the club. So it's a huge gamble that if I was buying, I would not do. I would not do. He's not that player anymore, and he's not been playing that position anymore. So I understand Bayern being linked with him. He's a great player, great experience, and so on. But no, not as a 6. Definitely not as a 6.
Interesting. Well, there we go, man. There we go. The hour is done. Thank you so much for coming on, mate.
It was a pleasure.
It was good to have you on.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. If you ever want me on your channel, just message and I'll be there. 110%. So
No problem.
we can definitely link up, man. And yeah, man. Thank you for coming on. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Smash the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, all of that good stuff. Check out PSG Inc. Was doing a funny stream yesterday on FIFA. So there's all different things over there. So yeah, make sure to go over there, subscribe if you haven't already. But yeah, till then, mia san mia. Peace out, people. Peace out.
Peace out.